What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Seven Figure Flipping Podcast. This is Bill Allen. On today's show, I have some amazing parents that are coming on to talk to you guys. The mother and father of Sofia Mendez. If you missed it, go back a couple episodes and listen to this amazing 16-year-old who's done 3 deals, one wholesale deal, one partnership, and one flip on her own with the help of her parents. But they are going to come on and talk about how they're raising this superstar young lady, how they got her involved, how they, some of the issues that they had, some of the tips that they have for you. So if you have kids and you are a parent and you want to get them more involved, you have got to listen to this show and share it like crazy. Share this show like wildfire, because I want to change the future of our young generation. I want to change the future through the parents. It's our responsibility to upbring and grow our new up and coming children to be great members of society. And we can do that by listening to shows like this and learning from parents like them.
My name is Bill Allen, and I'm the leader of a group of elite house flippers and wholesalers called Seven Figure Flipping. We don't brag or show off our success, but instead let integrity and stewardship be our guide. We are dedicated to helping people unlock the freedom they desperately need. If you ask other real estate investors, they will say to keep your secrets quiet. But we believe in abundance, not scarcity, and that's why we are the elite. We are Seven Figure Flipping, and this podcast is our playbook.
All right, everybody, I am back with another show. I'm really excited about today's guests. I actually had their daughter on the show recently. She's 16 years old. If you guys missed that show, it's just a couple episodes ago. Go back and check it out. And we're going to talk a little bit about being a parent, getting your young child involved in real estate and finance and all this stuff. We'll talk about their history, their background a little bit. And just, I wanted to bring them on after talking to Sofia, who was my guest a few weeks ago, and just kind of figure out how we can be better parents. Like, how could we get our children involved in finance, involved in real estate, get them excited? I got so much amazing feedback from that episode of a 16-year-old doing her third house, her first flip. And people are like, how do you do that? Like, so mom and dad, how do you do that? So, hey, before I ask that question, give a quick introduction of who you guys are, a little bit of background on you, and then I'll ask the real question of how do you do that?
Okay, so my name is Marizol Mendez, and my husband's name is Omar Mendez. We started real estate 9 years ago, and we are excited that now our daughter is joining our team.
Nice.
Yes, and yes, we are a couple who has worked together as a team, growing together, learning, improving, and always looking to be a role model for our kids. So we're excited to be here today.
Yeah, you guys, give it a little bit, like, what kind of real estate background do you have? You started 9 years ago. What does that look like? Maybe a quick overview of what you guys have done, where you are now, and where you're going.
Yeah, so basically, real quick, 9 years ago, we both had a full-time job, driving about half hour away from home, to our jobs. Basically just like many other people, started as just one flip. And it's we've always just mostly done flips since then. And then, just over the years, we've acquired a number of rentals, for cash flow. And it's just been, I don't know if you want to add something to that, Marisol?
Yes, so we have done over 120 flips, and we also acquire a rental portfolio that has provided us with financial freedom for us and also for our kids.
Where are you guys from originally? And when you were growing up there, did you ever think that you would have done 120 flips?
No. So basically, me and Omar, we were born in Mexico. We grew up there. We came here. Our parents brought us here because this is the country of opportunities, you guys. We came here because we wanted to have a better life. Our parents want us to have a better life. And we are blessed to be here in this country that is just full of opportunities. But when we got here, we were told that we needed to go to school and get a job, and our dreams will come true. And then we drink the Kool-Aid. We did went to school, but we were not financial free, and we didn't have time freedom either. That's why we decided to start real estate 9 years ago, with the hope of just be able to take our kids to school, with the hope of be there for their birthdays, or be there for them when they got sick, without feeling guilty, like I have to call my job.
I love it. Okay, so let's talk about your daughter. So you guys started doing this business, and then she told the story. I mean, hopefully, I assume you guys have listened to the show by now. But at the age of 12, she went on a cruise. For anybody who hasn't listened to it, parents brought them on a 7-figure flipping cruise. She was 12 years old, not really interested in anything that we were doing. She just wanted to go on the cruise and hang out and spend time with like the fun things that were on there, water slides and ice cream and food and games and all that stuff on the cruise. And little by little, just started to somewhat get interested in it. And then maybe 2 years later, started to really get a little bit more interested, went to a conference and then said, well, hey, maybe I could actually do something like this. What was it like for you guys on your end? I just kind of wanted to hear your story. Like, did you bring your 2 children on the cruise at that time because you wanted to expose them to more of this, or was it just a family vacation and you were just hopeful? Like, what was the intent of that? And what is some advice that you would give to some people who are trying to get their kids to get more interested in what they do?
Do you want to take it more, or do you want me to take it?
Go ahead.
So basically, we believe that this is a family business, and we would like to take our kids where we travel. And what I felt really good about this mastermind is that basically this is, I felt like my kids are safe when they go to this mastermind. And we just wanted to take them because we as parents were not cool. They think they investing in real estate is not cool. But I thought, what about if they meet like Bill Allen? What about if they meet Becca? What about if they meet other investors and their kids? Maybe they will think that they are cool, and maybe one day they will come to me and they will be like, I want to be as cool as Bill Allen. And that's why we took them.
Well, and one other thing I'll add, we have been part of the 7-figure family for several years already. And so we've always seen the culture of the group, and we've always felt like it's a family, basically a feel, of a group, basically, a place where you take your kids. And that was part of, probably the other reason for that. And, we just, at the end, they'll have fun, and like Marizol said, they'll meet others, and that was basically it.
What would you recommend to the folks that are out there that want to get their kids involved in what they're doing? Maybe they're flipping houses or wholesaling houses or buying rentals or doing apartments or lending money, and they want their kids to get involved. Their kids are playing video games, they're inside, they're on iPads, those kind of things, and they want to get them involved. Like, what would you recommend some of the first steps?
So I'll kind of talk a little bit about kind of what's worked for us, and maybe that'll kind of I'll explain that better. So we've always believed in first of all, growing as a couple. Like Marisol and I, always working on bettering ourselves. I think you want to be always think and always know that your kids they're always watching what you're doing. They're always there to see everything that's going on. They see that. They know what's going on. They see, they feel, all that. The more your kids are, I think we as parents, we think that my kid's not even listening, this and that. So we've always, so number one, always been improving on ourselves, being role models for our kids. Slowly get him engaged, get him connected to what you're doing. Once they see what you're doing, and I feel like if that's something that they like, they'll gradually start grasping on it and get curious. And maybe some kids they'll get interested, maybe not. But I think once you start, you work on your foundation as a couple. First of all, as a couple, because if you and your spouse are broken, you're not on the same page. I mean, it could happen, but I think the chances are less. They're smaller. So just be there for your kids. I mean, I think earlier, Marisol and I were talking about. I think she mentioned something about you maybe let some of that money go, trade it for some time with your kids. You wanna join on that yourself?
Oh, yes. A lot of people will think, Marisol, why in the world 2 years ago you basically decide to go and pick up garbage when your kid's in one of on the projects? I am worth more than what I will pay someone to pick up garbage, but this is why I did it. I wanted to teach them a lesson. The lesson is that we are very grateful for the employees that we have, that they go to those houses and they pick up garbage. They do a lot of things for our business. And I was paying them. But I guess that we believe as parents that I don't want to teach. I don't want to give a fish to my kids. I want to teach them how to fish. And I also want them, I want to show them respect and kindness to other people, and respect our employees, because without them, we will not be where we are. Like, it's a team. And I had let money go to spend time driving for dollars when Sophia, to teach her how to count properties, to be there for her. And actually, I don't regret it. Maybe I will be farther ahead in real estate, but real estate without having a good relationship with my kids, I don't even want it. I prefer to still have a balanced life and just be there for them.
I love it. You talked to Omar a little bit about like they're always watching and they're always listening. And that's one thing that I took away from Sophia's interview that I did with her. She was talking about how you guys would drive around and listen to the 7-Figure Flipping podcast. And she was like, she would just be like, it was on. She would hear it. And she said she would kind of listen, but she didn't really care about it when she was younger. But it was just something that her parents did. They did this. It was always on in the car. She was hearing it. And eventually it started making sense. It's almost like speaking a different language, right? We were just down in Mexico, and little by little, you can start picking it up. Like if you were immersed there, I was talking to Dave Morris and his wife. They were talking about their son who didn't speak any Spanish, but for his mission trip for 2 years was put in a Spanish speaking community in Ogden, Utah. And he just learned it. He's completely fluent in Spanish right now. And after a few months of just being immersed in it, you start kind of picking it up. And so if they're around, if they're there, if they're listening to it, then eventually they're going to decide, like you said, Omar, maybe they're interested or maybe they're not. But you give them the option. If you don't take them on the cruise and you don't expose them to something, they never have the option, right? So you guys opened up the door. And then something else you said was they get curious. And I think that young kids, they want to do those things like that your parents are doing, or they're interested in it. Like I see my son, Will, as you're talking, I'm wondering if I'm doing a good job with him on some of the things like over at the farm, some of the business side of the farm, things like that. Like they just think that they can't do it. They think they're too young. I'm not old enough to do this. I'm not whatever. And so what I heard in Sophia was like, she just didn't know that she couldn't do some of the things because you guys always said that she could. And so when she got, she doesn't know that a 14-year-old can't do this when other 14-year-olds or 15 or 16-year-olds are saying, I can't do that. I'm too young. I'll do that one day when I'm in my 30s or after college or something like this. And so really, really cool stuff that I think that you guys are opening the door for this opportunity and option that she has. And your other daughter has, right? She's even younger. But she's working for her sister now. She said she's paying her to address stamps or address envelopes and send out letters and things like that for her. Hey, how important do you think patience is when it comes to this stuff? Marisol, you talked a little bit about maybe you'd be further along than you are right now because of some of the things that you've been doing with your daughter. But how important is patience when it comes to bringing your kids in and letting them do things instead of just like grabbing the phone and saying, don't say that? Like, how important is it to have patience and some grace when you're teaching them these things?
It has taken me years. It has not happened overnight. And years, basically years of trying to teach them in different ways. For example, and I will give you guys one example. She wanted a phone when she was like 12 years old. And as I have told you guys, I don't believe in just giving things. I think that I will be doing a disservice to my kids, because life is not, they will not just get everything that they want. So I told her, Sophia, if you really want a phone, this is your two options. Either you work for our business and I will pay you money, or you will read 12 books, and but they will be my books, not your books. And if you read them, I will get you your phone, but it comes with rules also. So the first book that I give her, she got first she was upset about it, but then she decided she wanted to do the books. And I can tell you guys that she was so upset about reading those books. And but I thought, you know what, Sophia, if you just get one idea from that book, I was just trying to plant seeds, you guys, slowly. And it took her time to read those 12 books. And then when she read those 12 books, I told her, now you have a phone. And but now a phone is like a car. A car needs gas. A car needs certain things. If you have to either pay me like $50 a month so you can still have your phone, or you can read one book a month. So I got her in that one also. So it has taken years. It has taken a lot of patience, a lot of books, and it has taken us. We have surrounded her with like different groups that they have helped her, like 7-figure flipping.
Can I add a little bit to that? So she mentioned planting seeds. I can tell you guys, there's been so many seeds that have been planted, and I, most of this, Marisol does with Sophia, and I mean we all do, but she's been more focused with our daughters, and I think she's a great coach. She's a great wife, great leader, and so and go back to a little bit about patience. Well, here's the thing. If you want your kid if you want to get your kid involved in what you're doing, and you want to get him interested, well, here's the thing. Get interested in your kid first. Get interested. I mean, like once you what's the word? Okay. If you want to get your son involved, or your daughter involved, put yourself in his or her shoes, and they're going to feel like you understand them. And of course, like Marisol was explaining, once they want the phone, okay, here's the phone, but guess what? I mean, still, yes, treat him, for the age, but gradually start raising the bar. Raise the bar. Okay, here's your phone, but here's what you got to do. Oh, cool. Okay, you want something? Well, here's what it's going to cost, and then they'll do it. But yeah, gradually get them involved, and once they feel like, hey, my mom she's on my team. You know what? Yes, mom. Well, we'll do that. So I feel like that's how it's been for our family, and so it's been really, really cool.
I like that a lot. Get interested in them. So what I hear is a little bit like, if they know that you care, and it's funny because you said that she was upset about the books, because I just saw her give a presentation in Mexico about her journey to all of our runway members and some of the altitude members that wanted to show up. And even some like Andy McFarland was in there, and pretty much the majority of the entire group was in there. And now she's bragging about those 12 books that she read. She puts them up and talks about all the books that she read, right? There's these 12 books and how they changed her mindset and changed the way that she thinks. And so what starts out as pain becomes something that they're really proud of down the road. So same thing with Will. I did the same thing with him. I heard, I was at a presentation where there was another dad talking about his son and how he gave him like $20 every time he read a book, one of his books, right? And the son was up on stage. He was 17 years old, talking about he's got $1 million business at 17. And he's talking about this challenge and how hard it was and how he didn't want to do it, but how that framed his mindset and changed the way that he thinks even as a young kid. And so I was giving Will the opportunity. Will was 6 or 7, I think he was 7 when I gave him this book. It was The Way of the Warrior Kid, the Jocko Willink books about ownership. And I said, you read this book and you write me a report on it, 2-page report, I'll give you $20. And it was like, no. And then he wanted something from the farmer's market last year. And I said, hey, you get $20 if you read that book. It's been sitting on your desk for a while. He was getting into reading and he read it, wrote a 2-page report for me and did it very quickly and really loved it. And so now he's like, wants to do another one and another one. And now it's constantly like, hey, if you want $20, here's the next book. Here's the next book. And they're getting more and more difficult and challenging and specific for what I think that he needs based on what's going on in his life. So I really love that. Get interested in them. And they know if you're interested in them. I think if they know that you're interested in what they're doing, they're going to be a little bit more interested in what you're doing. Like you said, Omar, for me, it's very easy to kind of like just say that the things that they're doing, like the video games, the stuff that you don't appreciate or don't like is wrong. And so what I did instead, what I've been trying to do is trying to understand it, try to ask him questions, because he studies that stuff really well. I couldn't believe it. Like he'll watch a YouTube video on a video game and learn it. And that can be directed to something that's probably more beneficial for him, of understanding a skill and learning. So if he understands that he's learning that, he's understanding a skill, and we can point it in a different direction that's probably more beneficial long-term. It's me getting interested in him and being a part of his life, and not just saying, oh, that's dumb, or don't do that. Why do you do that? Those kind of things. Has it always been easy? I know you mentioned the books, but has it always been easy? Because I think a lot of people listening like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just like wake up and my 16-year-old would be flipping houses with me. So if not, what are some of the kind of roadblocks that you guys hit, some of the challenging points, and what did you do to get past those?
Very good question. And I'm going to share this because Sophia is very open about it. And she actually has shared this. I think that when she was like 12 to 14, she was passing through those teenager years that they can be very challenging. She was passing through, I will say, a lot of insecurities, depression, and all the things that a lot of teenagers are passing through. And me as a mom, I honestly didn't know how to deal with that either. She's my oldest daughter. It took time for our relationship to get better, but I never give up. I never give up on her. I never give up in having a good relationship with my kids. So I don't know if this is answering your question, but parents, don't give up if your kids are passing through a hard time right now. Be there for them. Love them. Care about them.
Here's one thing that I'd like to add to that. So I've seen in life, I've seen where many situations where, I think that we as parents, we don't realize like how much responsibility it's upon us for our kids' success, for our kids, over the years maturing, the kids learning, growing and doing better things. The reason why I say that is this, because I've seen cases where, let's just say a family out there, right? One of the kids decides to go a different route, maybe he gets into gangs and eventually ends up in prison, gets in trouble all the time. And then later on, we're asking ourselves, like, what? I told my kid, I've always been working, to provide the best for him. And I bought him all the bicycles he wanted and the games and the toys. And it's like, that's great. But did we forget that your kid wants your needs and wants your time? He wants to feel appreciated. He wants to feel understood. He wants to feel like you are there and you've been there for him. And I mean, I'm just going to say this. Probably, I feel like if your kids go a different route, and when I say a different route, it's like they get in trouble, they end up not doing anything with their life and nothing productive. Well, maybe we should ask ourselves: was there something left for me to do as a parent? Because I mean, we can't blame the school system. I mean, there's so many issues, problems out there, right? And we can blame 1,000 things, but the only people to take, to blame it's ourselves. And if there's something that doesn't go well, guess what? There's probably something missing there that we're not doing or we didn't do. That's, yeah.
I like that a lot. I totally agree with you 100%. We say we're working towards all this stuff. We're working towards making money, and we're traveling all the time, or we're at work nonstop for our family, but we never take the time to actually be there for our family. And I feel like, for the past few years, I've shared this on the show before, for me, is I feel like I'm always plugged in. Like I'm never really like truly there. Like I never am able to unplug from the business, even at home, put the phone down, the computers down, my thoughts down. And sometimes my kids will have to say daddy 3 times before I even hear them the first time. And that's when I realized, like, man, I'm there, but I'm not there. And I think a lot of us struggle with that, entrepreneurs specifically, of truly being there. So I've worked really hard to kind of be able to turn one thing off and turn them on and be there. And I heard somebody say it's not always the quantity of time that is spent, it's the quality of the time that is spent there. And so what I found was I was spending a lot of quantity of time, but not a lot of good quality of time. And I may be my kids are like, you're always on your phone, or put that down, or play with me, and things like that. And that's what they want. They just want that. My kids right now, the kids are kind of little. My 6-year-old and my 5-year-old. My 5-year-old specifically, every time I get home, he's like, Daddy, be the monster, be the monster. And all he wants me to do is just chase him around the playroom and like throw him on the couch and run around. And honestly, a lot of times I'm tired when I get home, And if you're listening to this, you're tired when you get home. You had a long day. It was rough. You just want to kind of sit on the couch. And I shared this at the event last week. There's a book that a guy that I met called Dr. Benjamin Hardy. He wrote a book called Be Your Future Self Now. And inside of that kind of concept of your future self, if you look at your future self, that your kids are grown, they're moved out of the house, and your future self is looking back on that moment where you come home tired and you just want to sit on the couch for a little bit, but your kids want to play, your future self will play with those kids because they're not able to play with that 5-year-old again. And they'll look back and say, what are you doing, dummy? Like, get off your butt and put the phone down, put the computer down, and play with that kid, because he's 21 years old right now, out of the house, and you'd give anything to chase him around and be the monster when he's 5 and be able to pick him up again. So like, I get choked up even every time I tell that. It's like, it hits me really hard because I think of, I might have lost a year of my kid's life doing that, and I'm not willing to lose another minute of it. And if you're listening to this right now, like, hopefully you're not willing to lose another minute of all of it. Like, if you think about your future self and you really project that and think about what would your future self look back and say to you now, would they say, go home early, play with the kids. That email can wait till tomorrow. That phone call can wait. Put the phone down. Like, give them a hug, give them a kiss, tell them you love them, say I'm sorry. All the stuff with you, your spouse, your family, your kids. Like, that's the stuff that really matters. Everybody says, like, you can't buy more time. And when you're on your deathbed, you're not going to be counting the money that you have, but you're going to be counting all the relationships and the people that are around you. So I think that's really big and important. And I love that you guys said that, all of those things, and shared some of the struggles that you have. It's not always easy, right? It's not always easy raising children. And like, I just want to look back in the future and say, hey, I did the best thing. I did the best that I knew how. I look at my parents and I really believe that my parents did the best that they knew with what they had. for me, my brother, and us growing up. We're not going to be perfect. We are going to mess up. But you're right. Like, I just need to spend more time, quality time, and love them and be interested in them and push them and expose them to things that other kids might not be exposed to, or some areas of expertise that I have and things that I do that they can come. I remember when Will was at Flip Hacking Live this year. He usually comes on the third day. Like, I bring him down there and he stays with my dad for a couple of days and plays. Then he comes on the third day. So he's gotten to see like Walter Bond. And this year he saw Nick Santanastasso. And I could just see when Nick came out, he's got like no legs, no arms, and he's coming out. My son's sitting right next to me. We go down the front row, we sit together, and he was just riveted. He's just like, and I couldn't tell, like, is it judgment? What is it? But he's so pure. He just like was captivated by what he was saying and totally involved. And like, what 7 or 8 year old kid gets to see a world-class public speaker talk about motivation for an hour? There were like 20 kids in the room, maybe, and maybe just 1 or 2 that were his age. And I mean, that's just an amazing opportunity that he gets to have, that honestly, if you're listening to this, your kids can have too. You can bring them and expose them to this. You can bring them to the mastermind groups. You can bring them to Flip Hacking Live. You can bring them to our multifamily event. You can bring them to our virtual experiences, the things that we do online. You can expose them to this very early. And that's what I want people to get from this. I want them to understand that there's an opportunity there for your children to follow along and shadow you in your learning and your growing. And you don't have to have it all figured out to invite your kids along with you. I mean, we're putting on a kids event here in June at the office for our mastermind members, ages 6 to 18. So, I mean, I want to figure out how we can educate these kids, and the parents. How do we educate the parents to show them what's possible for the kids? And a lot of times we send our kids to school, and it's really just like glorified daycare, where our kids just don't have to be around us for the day, so we can get stuff done. And then when we get home, they're watching TV, we're making dinner, or we're sitting on our butt just kind of relaxing, they're still working. And how do we as a family come together and say, what did you learn today? What's going on? Let me get interested in your life. This is a couple big things that I took. Your kids are always watching and listening. They're very curious about what's going on, and they want to do more. You got to have patience, and it's not always easy. And get interested in them. What are some last things that you guys can share? Maybe some things that I missed asking you, but something that you would share for the listeners that want to get their kids involved, maybe some other advice that I didn't necessarily ask you guys about.
Okay, so I was thinking about this, and I also think that the importance of who your friends are, because they are not just going to influence you, they are also influencing your kids. So think about the friends that you have, and if you have friends that they are not good friends, remember that they are not just influencing you, also your kids.
I think that's brilliant. That's really important to note. I think about this all the time with my kids' friends' parents that I don't know that well. Like I love kids coming to the mastermind meetings, the events, these kind of things. Like, I know every single one of those parents would be great influence on the children, but I don't spend a lot of time with my kids' parents. And some of them, my son sleeps over at his friend's house quite a bit. Like, I've spent time with the parents, but we definitely have, I would suspect, different mindsets in certain areas and different thoughts and feelings. So I'm always asking him, hey, what did you guys do? What was happening? What was going on while you were there? Like, trying to get some more information of how things go. So I think it's a great piece of advice.
Another thing also is we always talk about like money, and we have let our kids know the money, because a lot of people are under the impression the money is like evil, money is good. We just got always explain our kids money is a tool, and a tool that you can use it for good or for bad, but it's to the owner of the money. It's not the money that will make you better or worse. I don't know, just like simple concepts. I know that a lot of families struggle like talking about money in their house. We talk about it openly. like, right, Omar?
Yeah.
Do you want to add something else?
Yeah. So for me, I'm going to say, so think about as a parent, as a couple, with your spouse, think about where you are right now, and think about where you would like to be in this year, 3, 5, 10 years, 20 years, right? Think about that. And if you don't like what you see down the lane, well, start changing it right now. If you want to be a better parent, I mean, you want to be a better spouse, you want to be a better individual, well, start working on yourself. Work with your spouse, be on the same page. And if you don't work with your spouse, that's okay. As long as your spouse supports you on what you do, I don't think that it doesn't mean that, if you're a business partner with your spouse, it's okay. But let's say you work with your spouse on the same team, on the same business. So keep educating yourself, read, learn as much as you can. The more you grow yourself, the better version of an individual you will become over time. And sometimes we don't even feel, we don't know, like, I'm growing, right? It's like, your kid doesn't know, like, we can see how they're growing every day. So the more you educate yourself, the better person you're going to be. The more you can influence your kids to do better. Guess what? Other one, join the mastermind. Like, if you want to grow in this area of your life, join a mastermind, and you'd be surprised how much that will change your life. I mean, going back 9 years, I mean, thanks to my wife, she, out of all the books in the library, she goes and she grabs the book by Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said, here you go, read this book, and this will change our lives. And guess what? Yes, that has changed our lives. And yes, I hated reading books in the past. It was like, no, I'm not like, but she laughs because that's true. And I'm very grateful that we are, on the same team and husband and wife and business partners. And anyway, it's been great. So always keep growing yourself first. If you don't have love, how can you give love to someone? Well, you can't. So anyway, I get excited about this stuff.
Just love your kids.
Yes, love your kids, and just keep be patient. And if you are doing the right thing, eventually you will see that seed growing and becoming a tree, and that's going to grow, and you'll be amazed what happens from there. So
I love it, and I'll just end with this: just do the best that you can. Like, really, do the best that you can with the tools that you have. And over time, it's going to compound. Like, a little bit better and a little bit better over time becomes exponentially better. And so for me, I'm doing the best that I can. I'm getting advice from everybody who has older kids that are doing a bunch. Like, I love part of the reason why I want to interview you guys. It's selfish. I want to know what I should be doing. And same thing. I asked Tyler and I asked Jeremiah and I asked Nate Eccles with his daughter Riley, like what's going on here? Like, there's this movement of children buying houses, and Ryan Whitfield, he's got his son Ollie is doing some really big things. It's really cool to see what's happening, and I cannot wait for the kids that show up to the kids event this year. And we do this event. We're doing it on June 8th and 9th. Here at my office in Spring Hill. So if you're one of the mastermind members and you're hearing this podcast, make sure you RSVP for the kids event June 8th and 9th. We do some really cool stuff over at the farm. It's going to be fun. It's going to be kind of like the cruise where kids want to come for the fun. And then we're going to slip them a little bit of like learning and knowledge and information about investing, finance, and real estate investing. And so over 2 days, we're going to spend some time with them. And ages 6, I think 6 is probably about the earliest. If you got a really kind of advanced 5-year-old, that's probably fine. But we'll have some early classes and we'll have some more like classes for some older kids. Break them up, split them up, depending on who RSVPs. If you're interested in that and you're not a member of our mastermind, there's still time to join the mastermind. Go to 7figurerunway.com. The number 7figurerunway.com, fill out an application and talk to one of my team members, and we'll see if it's the right fit for you. Jump in and come to this event. This might be your first event. And if this is your first event, we'll blow you away. I can promise you that. And so for me, I want to create something for my kids And then next year, if we do it again next year, I want to see all these kids, like the growth that they've had, the development that they've had, and the things that they've been able to accomplish in a year, like little mini, like, I don't know, like a minor Flip Hacking Live, like Flip Hacking Live for minors, basically. So we have this event that I want to do. I want to grow it. I want to make it really big. And I think it has the opportunity to have a lot of legs. I really think that the future is bright for our younger ones, and we can crush all these people saying that the next generation is garbage. The next generation is not going to do anything. The next generation is, I think it's totally false. And if that does happen, it's not their fault. It's ours. It's our fault. It's our generation's fault. So take some responsibility and some ownership for the product that you're putting out there into the world. And so everybody who's saying these millennials and the next, whatever's after that, I don't know. There's younger kids than that now. And they're the problem. They're not the problem. We're the problem. We are the original iPhone generation. We are the original computer and technology generation. So we are so stuck on our phones and our computers and not involved in our kids' lives that's what they see. And they grow up with our phone in our hands. So what do they have in their hand? They have their phone. They have the iPad. They have the computer. They're being numbed. And so what I want to do is I want to remove that. I want to take some responsibility and some ownership to say, all right, well, if it's our fault, let's see if we can reverse this. Let's see if we can do it the other direction. Let's see if we can make it better. So that's the plan. Okay. Any last things? Save rounds before we go?
Thank you, Bill Allen. I always say Bill Allen. Just thank you. And for all the parents out there, just continue doing the best that you can do, and be patient. Don't give up, and love your kids.
Yes, and having a kids mastermind, I can tell you that that for a parent, that will be one of your greatest investments if you choose to do that for your kids. That and many more things, because like I said earlier, we have been part of the 7-figure mastermind, and we know that we have grown a lot because we've been part of a mastermind. And obviously, the 7-figure family, it's been great influence for us, for our kids. Don't let the opportunity go. I mean, go be a member. And see if you like it. See how it goes for you and your family. And I can tell you guys, it'd be life changing. But do your part. You got to do your part too. So.
Yep. Okay. How can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about what you're doing there in Washington, or maybe you guys need something like some private money or some partners, or you're looking for something specific? This is your chance to give like a quick 30-second commercial.
Okay, we always need more deals. So we always need cheaper money, and we love to partner up with people and create win-win situations. If you guys want to partner up with us, or if you guys want to put your money to work, you guys can send us an email to Marizol Mendez 509@gmail.com. Let's talk. Let's make our lives better.
Okay. MarizolMendez. What was the number?
509.
509@gmail.com. We will put that in the show notes. So you guys can see it, but you can reach out to them. And where are you guys? What area are you in? Where are you buying?
We're in Eastern Washington.
What specific counties?
Grand County. Mostly Grand County, and Grand County. Okay,
Eastern Washington. And there you guys go. So thanks for coming on the show. I love talking to you guys always. I'm really excited about the future for you and your family. And I can't wait to see what you guys all accomplish together. It's really inspiring, and I'm really proud of you. And I'm learning a ton from you guys. So I love it. Thanks for being on the show. And for everyone that's listening, I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.